Hello everybody, Drew from Langlois Vital Nutrition Center here with you. Thank you for watching. Today I'm going over part 2 of my discussion on blue zones. In part 1 I went over what is a blue zone and where are the blue zones. So if you haven't seen that video yet, please press pause here, go back to our YouTube page and watch part 1 on blue zones. Thank you. And then come back and join us here. Today what I want to talk about is why these blue zones exist. According to Dan Buettner, who is the gentleman who first coined the term blue zone, these blue zones exist because they eat a 95% plant-based diet. There's a few other traits to these blue zones. There's a strong sense of community. There's usually a faith or religion system in place. Family is very important, and having a purpose in life is also very important in all of these blue zones. So, as you notice, I only wrote down the 95% plant-based on the board because the other 4 traits, the family, the faith, the purpose, and the strong community, I have no dispute with. What I will dispute is the 95% plant-based. I'm going to do that covering 2 different blue zones. The first one for this video is going to be the blue zone in Japan. And there's 3 main traits of their diet that I want to go over with you to show you not only it's not 95% plant-based, but also that there are other factors at play here beyond whether or not it's plant-based. So first, much of the food in this region in Japan comes from the sea. So that includes sea vegetables like kelp, which are incredibly minerally dense. And we know that minerals are very important for optimal health and functioning. The other big food I should say that they get out of the sea is fish. And they don't just eat the meat out of the fish, they often make things like brain stew. They often eat the skin of the fish and some of the organs. So they're going way beyond just eating the meat, they're getting some of the more nutrient-dense parts of the fish, like the skin or the brain. All of those things are very anti-inflammatory in nature. Which leads me to my second point. Rice is their main starch in this region in Japan. And while rice is a carbohydrate and it is a grain, it has a very important trait. It is gluten-free. We know that gluten is something that exists in certain grains and is very inflammatory. So in this region in Japan, their main grain does not contain gluten, and they're eating a number of foods from the sea that are anti-inflammatory. The third trait about this region in Japan is they make a lot of bone broths, and they actually do that from the bones they get from the fish that they harvest from the ocean. Now we know that bone broth contains a lot of different nutrients and has a wide variety of benefits. If you have questions about that, again, you can go back to our YouTube page and look for our video on collagen and on bone broth. So, for this blue zone in Japan, we know that 95% of their diet is not plant-based. We also know that 2 of their main plants, the plants from the ocean and the rice, are a lot less stressful on the body and in some ways actually have a lot of benefits for the body. We also know that they're making bone broths. These reasons put together is why there are so many centurions in this blue zone that exists in Japan. Now in my next video I'm going to go over another one of the blue zones that exists in Costa Rica. And I'm going to explain again why I dispute saying it's a blue zone because it's mostly plant-based. You can look forward to that video coming your way soon. Thank you so much for watching.